Today I'm going to show you a healthy version of a TTLA, so stick around. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN and I follow a whole food plant-based diet with a focus on protein. So I don't know if any of you ever heard of the TTLA sandwich from Whole Foods. It's tempeh bacon, tomato, lettuce, and avocado. And it's really delicious, but I like to make my own version, which will be lower calorie, lower fat, and higher protein. And I'm all about getting more protein these days because I am postmenopausal and I need the protein to help build the muscle that I'm working on at the gym. As we get older, we don't absorb protein like we used to in our younger days, so we do need to add a little bit more protein to our meals. So this one's going to be a big help with that. Now, I don't eat a lot of sandwiches because, as some of you know, I have celiac and I need to use gluten-free bread. And gluten-free bread is sometimes disappointing. It's a lot better than it used to be when I first got diagnosed in 2008, when it was like cardboard. It only has 1 gram of protein for 2 slices of bread, and the bread is 170 calories for 2 slices. So to me, that's not a really good return on my investment. So I just eat sandwiches very occasionally, but sometimes I just get a big urge. I want to have this sandwich, and I'm going to show you my version. We're going to start with preparing the tempeh, and then I'm going to make the marinade, and then I'm going to also make a garlic aioli sauce that's going to be a lot lower in fat and higher in protein than the veganese that they use at Whole Foods. I will leave the full recipe down below for the aioli, for the marinade, for the tempeh, all of it in the description box along with the macros. Please check out my description box for all the resources I offer, all my discount codes, my favorite protein powder, Earth Chimp. I've got a discount for that and for some other things as well. So please check that out. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is steam my tempeh. You do not want to skip this step. If you have trouble eating tempeh, if you don't like it, this could be the reason why. You need to steam it. It takes away the bitterness and it's just a lot better of a flavor. So I've got my Instant Pot here. You could steam this on the stovetop, in your microwave, whatever. Today I'm just going to use my Instant Pot because that's what I feel like doing. And I have about 3/4 cup of water in there, and I've got my steamer basket. And then I have an 8-ounce package of tempeh I'm just going to set in there, and we're going to steam this for 5 minutes. So I've got my lid on, make sure it's on sealing. Then we're just going to push the steam button and then use the plus button to go up to 5 minutes. All right, it is done. Now we're going to do a quick release because we want to get it out of there. And how I do this is I just throw a towel over it and then turn the knob towards you, because otherwise it's just for safety reasons. Okay, once the majority of that is out and the little lock goes down, you're ready to open it up. And there we have our beautifully steamed tempeh. So we'll take that out, and then we're going to work on the marinade and put it all together. All right, so we have our ingredients here. We've got water, we've got coconut aminos, you can use soy sauce or tamari, whatever you'd like, some maple syrup, I've got some garlic, nutritional yeast, liquid smoke, a little smoked paprika. It's all going to go in here. We're going to whisk it up. So we just dump it all in. And I will have the full measurements in the description box. And that's it. That's our marinade. If you want it a little sweeter, you can add some more maple syrup. And then, you know, taste it, of course. I'm not adding any salt because the Coconut aminos has plenty of salt in it. So this is going to make our tempeh a little sweet, a little smoky, just like regular bacon. All right, let's slice up our tempeh. All right, so we've got our tempeh. I let it cool for a little bit, and then we're just gonna slice it. You can slice it the long way or the short way. I prefer doing it the short way. That way it fits on a sandwich very nicely. And just try to be consistent as you can with your slices. It's not gonna be perfect, but about like that. And if they break, it's okay. You know, no lives will be lost. It'll be fine. Things do not have to be perfect. Definitely not in my life. So as you can see, some are a little thicker than the others, but just do the best you can. And you want to marinate this for a couple hours would be great. You could do it overnight, but just let it marinate for a bit. Now this one's going to be funky. Okay, now we've got a little glass dish here, and we will place our tempeh in here. All right, I've got almost all of it in here. I do want it in a single layer, and then just pour the marinade on. I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator, and I will flip it a couple times to make sure that everybody gets well coated. All right, there we go. So we're going to let this marinate, then we're going to put it in the oven. I may air fry it, I'm not sure. This has been marinating for about 4 hours, maybe a little longer. And we're just gonna put it on a lined baking sheet here. I've got a preheated oven, and it's gonna go in for 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna flip them over and baste them with the rest of the marinade and cook another 10 minutes. So you just wanna line them up, kind of scoot off any excess, because it does have maple syrup in it, so it could burn. So you just want to make sure you don't have a ton on there. And we have one casualty, that's okay. All right, so this is going to go in the oven. While the tempeh is baking, I'm going to make the garlic aioli sauce. And this is really easy. It's going to add more protein to the sandwich. So let's get started on that. Now the base for this is going to be my homemade yogurt. You can use whatever kind of plain vegan yogurt you would like. And I'm going to measure out 170 grams, which is about 2/3 cup. All right, now I'm going to add the next few ingredients. Let's get rid of the scale. So we'll be adding some apple cider vinegar, some lemon juice, some Dijon mustard, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of sugar. That just helps cut the acidity of the vinegar and the lemon juice. It really does make a big difference. So if you can do sugar, then it's just a half a teaspoon. It's not a lot. So I've got a teaspoon of lemon juice. And I'm going to do a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. You could do white wine vinegar. I don't have any. That's probably a better choice, but you go with what you got. And then just a half a teaspoon of sugar. And if you're going to use sugar, make sure you get sugar that is vegan, because not all white sugar is vegan, because they use animal bones in the process, which is just gross. So make sure you get vegan sugar. Then we're going to add some salt, and then we're going to add a little bit of Dijon mustard, just a half a teaspoon, and about a half a teaspoon of garlic. I use the garlic that's in the jar. If you want to chop your own, then it's about a clove. Then we're going to whisk this all together, and this is going to be about 4 servings. And of course you want to taste it, make sure that it has enough salt, And then we're just gonna set this aside, and when we build our sandwich, we'll use a quarter of this to do that. Look at that, nice and creamy, and a lot less fat and calories than using any vegan mayonnaise or things like that. All right, so here is our tempeh bacon, looking pretty good. Let's put the sandwich together. All right, so I have toasted my gluten-free bread. Now, if you are lucky enough to be able to eat regular bread, then choose the bread that you want. This is one of the reasons why I don't eat a lot of sandwiches, a lot of bread, is because gluten-free bread, this has 1 gram of protein in 2 slices, which is nothing. Regular bread, you're gonna get a little bit more. So if you can eat gluten, go for it. It's going to make a better sandwich for sure. But when I do want to eat a sandwich, I'm lucky enough, I've got gluten-free bread. So I've got some of my aioli here, and we're gonna put a generous amount on. So I'm gonna add 4 slices of the tempeh on here. That's another thing about gluten-free bread, is it's small, so it'll fit better on your bread. But that's okay, we're gonna work with it. And then we're going to add some red onion, tomato, avocado, and some lettuce. And you can build your sandwich however you like. I kind of like to put my tomato in the middle because that way it doesn't get the bread mushy. And add the red onion. And then I'm just gonna slice up this avocado a little bit. And add that on top. Along with some lettuce. Yum, it's gonna be a nice sandwich. And then we're just gonna top it, and then we're gonna try to cut it. But check this out. This is going to be really satisfying. So check it out. That is gorgeous. All right, let's give this a taste. I added some cucumber on here just for a little extra veg, and yeah, let's give it a taste. All right, we got one big huge sandwich here, and I know this is going to be messy, so I've got my paper towel ready. All right, here we go. So freaking good. That aioli is perfect. And the tempeh bacon is a little sweet, it's a little smoky. And if you want to make it crispier, you can. I like the way it came out, just a little bit crispy on the top. It's not going to have crunch like real bacon, but that's okay because I don't want to eat real bacon. So this is amazing. I'm going to compare my macros to the ones of the Whole Foods TTLA sandwich. So you're going to save some calories, some fat, and you're going to get more protein out of mine. Let me look at those numbers. But first, one more bite. For mine, the calories 492, Whole Foods 610. For mine, the fat grams are 18, 39 grams for the Whole Foods, 21 grams more because they use vegan A's, full of oil, all that. Carbs 56. For mine, theirs is 58, pretty close there. Protein on mine, 29 grams. On theirs, it's only 12 grams. So you're getting 17 grams less of protein. So I think mine is a way better option. It's a way better price. It's going to save you money. And it's delicious. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you made it this far in the video, please comment below with tempeh. And that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate your support. The full recipe with all the macros will be down below in the description box, along with all the other resources I offer, along with all my discount codes. So there's probably something down there for some of you, and I really hope you check those out. Remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you. So the first thing oh, hello. What do I got? Oh, not the hippies and the camera situation. We can't have that. So let me get the blah, blah. Remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet. And what you put on my,